What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Nintendo Friends, where we talk about everything gaming, but mostly Nintendo. I am your host, Hector, and we have such a great show today, you guys. We got a stacked panel, we got a stacked group of people here that are ready to talk about this, and it's going to be wonderful. So, first off, we've got the guy with the wandering eye, Glitchy Games himself. How you doing, Glitchy?
Oh, pretty good. Happy to be back finally. It's been a while since we've had a thing and you've gathered a plethora of people, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to have you. Next, we've got Professor Aaron, the Pokemon Professor. What's up, Aaron?
Doing okay. I'm back in the lab, ready to drop some knowledge and talk about games today.
Awesome. Looking forward to the fun fact as well at the end of the show.
hmm
Next, we've got Phil, the Flying Hawaiian, the Flowing Samoan, the Alolan Pokemon himself, Phil Tyler. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Love it. Short, sweet, to the point. That's Phil for you guys. Next, we've got another friend of the channel. He's been on it before. It's the artist formerly known as Jack Nova, Kaiju Kobo. How you doing today, Kobo?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, happy to have you back. Also returning, we've got Kitten Mama Cooking Star herself, Azzy, Mega Streamer. How you doing today, Azzy? She's so cute.
There we go.
There we go.
I was
There you
gonna say
are.
it might
How are
be
you
a
doing today,
different
Azzy?
source.
Chaotic. Oh,
For
sorry.
sure. No worries. And we love
But
your outfit.
yes.
You're always on point. It looks so cute. You said this is your
you.
trainer outfit?
Yes, if I was a Pokemon trainer, I'd be this be my outfit.
And what type would you train?
I am a dragon type. Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And last but certainly not least, we've got Mimikyu superfan, number one superfan, Lynn from Lynn Loves Games. How you doing, Lynn?
Hi, I'm pretty good. Happy to be back. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, you guys, we got a lot to talk about today. And so I'm going to just, I'm just gonna be moderating this thing. I really want to hear from you guys, and I just want to be the audience member today. We've done an episode like this before, but it was just Abel and I. Abel couldn't be here, sadly, so he's with us in spirit, like a tiny wood nymph or like a little Navi. So,
Listen,
hey, listen, there's Abel. But for sure, like he really wanted to be here. But we've done this before, so but a little bit of housekeeping. We've got we want to get to really quick before we get into the main topic, and that is Star Fox Direct, because it came out, and oh my goodness, I was speechless. I have so many thoughts, but I really want to start off with Phil and Kobo on this. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Phil, could you go ahead and start us off? What did you think of that Star Fox Direct?
Oh, my apologies. I haven't seen it yet.
No, this dude. Okay, Kobo, what about you?
Well, as a longtime Star Fox fan and lover of, like, I grew up playing Star Fox 64 a billion times over and over and over. I was impressed by the visuals. Although I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how to feel about the, and this is like a hot topic right now, is how they look. My
Like
favorite
you're
look
talking
is
about like
has,
the real life animal
Mhm.
looking thing. Yeah.
and I know there's like an argument out there for they want to go back to the puppets, but I was like, I grew up with the puppets, but like having that be my source from the first SNES version, and I still like the puppets more than that, but I don't know. I think it's cool that they're bringing it back, because like I've always thought that was a masterpiece of a game.
I
I think the
agree.
pros.
I
I
agree
also
with you.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I understand like the nostalgic aspect of it. I was taken aback with how they looked as well. I didn't really like it. I at first, and I'm like, okay, well they're bringing it into the new, modern audiences, and so they're trying to really heighten that up, and really kind of lean into that. So after a while, I feel like I won't mind. Like the more I watch it, the more I'm like comfortable with it. It's because I am used to that. For somebody who, I think for somebody who, I thought they were gonna go with what they did in Mario, like the art style that they did in the Mario movie. But I do know that Glitchy has some thoughts about this. Glitchy, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was just waiting for if anyone else wanted to say anything. So I saw the direct being announced. I left the gym. I went to my car. I looked at my phone, and I was just like Nintendo Star Fox Direct, and I was like losing my mind. And if you want to throw that clip in for the audience with when I messaged Kyle's game room with the Star Fox thing. Kyle, get your phone out! There's a Star Fox Direct. Kyle, damn it, Kyle! Go to Nintendo of America right now, dude! Just left the gym. Let's go! Oh yeah! I think this is like Nintendo's subtle way of like apologizing for destroying the puppets, maybe? I don't know. It is weird, but I think they need to just tweak some stuff a little bit. Um and I mean after the Mario Galaxy movie, I'm gonna be honest, I thought they were going in that direction too. But there's this one picture that's lingering in my head, and that's of Cat Monroe, and it just does not look like a cat. Like normally the lips are perched over, and design wise, you like shouldn't be able to see the teeth, and cats' teeth aren't like that. So I hope they fix up some stuff.
It was a little terrifying.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that design near children. Might scare them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Real quick, I think I got cut off, but like with the internet, I was gonna say the reason there's for the Star Fox Zero game, in my opinion, that was pretty close to perfect to what I'd like the. I mean, I was hoping the direction they'd go with these characters, with their visuals, because I felt like we were talking about the Mario Galaxy movie. That was pretty close. I mean, that
Yeah.
was a little more cartoony, but I think that for me, I always visualize them closer to like the puppets, and those puppets were close to the in my mind at least to the Star Fox Zero game, which is I think that was just peak for me. But again, this is my opinion, and I think going with what Glitchy was saying, I think this is also an apology for the one game. I thought it was for the game that kind of like reset the timeline for Star Fox, and that was Star Fox Command because
I
yeah, that was the one that they had a good thing going, and then Command came out, it kind of reset again, and we had another remake. But
If they had just remade Assault or actually
yep,
given Command like proper control, because I loved Command. I actually did. I believe I 100% or at the very least got like a good portion of the endings
mm,
because that game was fun to me.
mm,
Difficult but fun. And Assault, people did not like Assault, and I can see why they didn't like it, but I'll say it's better than Adventures.
yep. Okay, so I'm kind of the same, just the opposite, because Command, I think it was a fun game. I think what really turned a lot of people off to that were some of the endings and the fact that it's kind of vague.
Mhm.
But Assault after 64, I loved it. I love the visuals of the R wings. Like that was probably my favorite design for the R wings and the Wolfen.
Mm.
And I think they had a good thing going with a linear story. It was a little different from doing the pathways on a traditional Star Fox game.
Mhm.
And I think they still could have done more with it. But I agree with you. I was kind of on that mindset where I wish they had brought in a new game, a new story to kind of progress it, or redo Assault or one of the other games that kind of went past the Lilat Wars and went into the other stories.
I think the one thing that in a future game that I'd like to see, and it's a gameplay kind of mechanic that really only fits Star Fox for the kind of game that it is, because it's a space shooter. But
Mm,
in Command, they had stats for each of the pilots, and like they'd have like a variety of like health, shield, whatever it was, right?
mm,
Um, And I think I remember Slippy having like the most health out of all of them, but like the weakest attack, which it's like, yeah, that's Slippy. Um, so just to see 64 again, as I was writing a script for Star Fox 64 for the channel, um, I was like, just like I just like threw my glasses. It's like I don't know what to do here.
Yeah. I that would actually be really cool. I think I had another friend that commented on it to me too, and he's like, I wish they had finished Star Fox 2, but there's some things on there that I wish we could kind of see, but I explained to him we saw that in later games and in other forms, and especially like Zero, and I think in Command too, right? They had other vehicles or they could transform, if I'm remembering.
Yeah, I think 2 had that like R-wing, I forget what it's called.
The
The
Walker
the
version.
Walker.
Yeah.
I call it the chicken, but yeah, but has anyone else here played Star Fox Command or Assault or just anything else in the franchise outside of Star Fox 64?
I played a little bit of Assault, and then sorry, what is it? Command?
Command was on the DS, yeah.
Oh, never played that. I also played just the original Super Nintendo, and then wait. So is Assault the one where you actually get out and walk around, and
Yep.
or is that Adventures?
It's
Which
both. It's both. Adventures is more like if Star Fox took the Zelda route of things,
That's a good
versus
comparison.
right,
Yep.
and Assault is more of if you took Star Fox and then you gave it like I want to say Call of Duty mechanics, more like
which one's the one with the dinosaurs?
That's
Adventure.
That's
Adventures.
the
Oh,
Adventures
I
or
played that
Adventure.
one then. I
That
liked
actually
it.
I think one of the earliest builds for that got leaked recently, where it's like you could play like as Crystal before she was like Crystal from Star Fox.
Yeah, it was called Dinosaur Planet, I think. It was just
Mhm.
some simple like that. It was interesting. I saw some clips of that.
Aaron, do you have any thoughts? I know you had some a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Very similar to Glitch. I saw the alert on my phone. I do follow my favorite, producers of games on like Twitch and stuff, and I'll see the alerts, and I was like, oh my God, Star Fox, what? And I watched it. I feel like maybe I'm in the minority, but I appreciated the art style that went with. I know it's definitely a pretty big departure. I mean, I know they even show like the full character models. They don't have the robot legs anymore, which I guess for a long time was like canonically they cut off their own legs so that their blood flow doesn't go to their legs when they're going through G-force and stuff. But now it's like, oh, Falco and Fox have inverted animal legs. It's different, I guess, which is fine. I was I know we talked about this on a previous podcast with Phil about what I was looking for in a future game, and I hope that this game does well with this art style and this, bringing it to a new generation with, all these updated playing
It looks
systems. That
incredible. It looks
it
great.
does, and I really hope that this does well so that they can go beyond the Lilat system. Like I said, one of the things I suggested in one of the previous podcasts was, hey, what if there's like a wormhole near Corneria, and instead of going through the Lilat system, we're going to a whole new galaxy with brand new systems and creatures and a different final boss and stuff. And I hope that this game could be like a new proof of concept to redo Star Fox again, because this is, every single time they re-release it, it's just Star Fox 64, another one, and or Star Fox Super Nintendo, another one, because that's what 64
Another
was
one.
essentially. Yeah.
No, the one.
And um but I probably need to rewatch it because I don't remember. I was so excited seeing Kat's name that I guess I didn't notice her character model. I guess she's a Scotia on the terrifying side, which I did not. I'm gonna have to go
I
back and
I didn't even notice the leg thing until you just said it, and I hope the camera picked up my raw reaction to that with like, because I that's that's rough.
they got the inverted animal legs.
How did but
See,
like Sakurai is gonna get that on his desk for like the next Smash Brothers game, and he's just gonna immediately go, nope. He's just gonna nope. You're not doing that.
it's yeah. Oh,
Oh
Aaron, I wanted to
wow.
ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
when you refer to like a wormhole or like a portal, are you making a reference to that secret level in the first game?
Somewhat, yeah, because I mean they played around with that before, where like it gets all the woo, like the
The
weird,
endless game,
yeah,
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 like
that
to,
one, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, because they played with that idea before. How cool would it be to like not go through the Lilac system again? Oh, there's a galaxy based on letters. Let's go to another one that's based on numbers or something,
mm,
just to give it a little bit of
Yeah,
a
it's very interesting.
yeah.
I
yeah.
I'm more excited, and maybe I'm in the minority in this one. I hope not because it's cool. Um, the James McLeod thing, right?
Yes.
That I actually am very
Daddy.
because he he was captured by Andros, and it was assumed he was dead. He's
Hmm.
presumed dead in Star Fox, the new one. And I'm like, are they just gonna res James like just because? Like I don't know what they would gain from that particularly,
That
I
was
right?
a, yeah. I
when
heard a
when I
theory about that.
oh
If there's a theory about it, because like
Well, not so much like a long explained theory, but some people, because going with what you were saying, the Star Fox 64, it was kind of vague his fate, because they said him and Peppy got captured. Peppy escapes, and it's assumed he's dead. And then spoiler, I don't know if do you want to talk about 64 spoilers or
if the game's over
Um,
20 years old and there's a spoiler to it, I mean like listen, that's more on the viewers, I'd say at
all
that
right.
point.
if
In
you
my
want to know,
defense,
if you could skip this part, who anyone listening, just spoiler alert.
I was gonna say in my defense though, it goes with the theory. I mean, it's just that
Yeah.
the theory was that with the cutscene, which I too was actually pro for that. I thought that was great. I think I'm the one thing I'm pro about that game is the new direct is the extra cutscenes. But this one, it was like you actually saw what happened, and I always wondered like, what does it look like when your own wingman turns on you instead of you accidentally shooting Falco or one of the other guys? And I thought it was great, but the theory goes that maybe this time with, like I said, this is the spoiler, um the actual ending, when you see James guiding you out, maybe he's alive this time, or he's not going to be just like a ghost, or um what is it, like an apparition like that just
I
appears and guides you out of there.
I
Force
always just
Ghost.
quite
Mhm.
literally a force goes. I think like because in and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone. Um, if I remember correctly, in the opening dialogue, that like Star Wars-esque intro, um, basically like they mentioned that he got captured. So it's like, you're in like little mini fighter ships. Like, how do you get captured? You either get blown out of the sky or something. So it's nice to see that that's retconned. I get is it's
They have
retconned
an
or
opportunity to do something really, whether whatever they do, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of like Final Fantasy VII remake, because you have a classic game which everybody knows who has played the original game. Hey, this happens. Something happens. Like with Final Fantasy, it's Aerith. With Star Fox, it's James
James.
McLeod. And so you have to. I think it's going to be really cool where you keep the audience guessing. Are they going to do this? Are they going to like? And I think that you've already done something cool. You've already done something that's like, oh hey, like it makes this kind of worth playing, and that it starts to get the gears turning. And so
Mhm.
I'm just with that alone. I was really interested in that for that alone. But then also, I love the campy dialogue. Like Peppy's like, you treacherous swine, or like just like the comic booky like dialogue of it is. I live for those things. So
You know what that's based off of, right?
um
Mhm.
Have you guys heard?
no, the bird is the word.
So okay, I actually I say it, I bring it up, but then I also don't remember the exact name of the show. But do you guys remember those old like I'm talking about like I think the 70s, and they had those puppet shows, but they were like science fiction.
Oh,
And
Thunderbirds.
yes, thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
like what Team America's based off of?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So
Thunderbirds.
the whole concept with the puppets, which is why there's so many, and that's why a lot of people think that's why they did puppets in the beginning for Star Fox. It's actually based off of that idea. So they were inspired by that, and I'm glad you brought up the dialogue, because that's kind of where they're grabbing a lot of the inspiration from. And
Love that.
I just think it's cool that they just tied what they like into what made Star Fox what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really intrigued and I'm excited, especially with the multiplayer aspect of the game. I think that's going to be really fun. Also, I'm really excited to. The more we talk about Switch 2, the more we talk about mouse controls and how they're putting more and more games, with this little gimmick here, with this game mechanic. We talked about it with Procopia, talked about it with Lynn, right? And I'm excited because now I get to like be part of like this community where, back in the day we'd play Call of Duty and like, why are these people doing so well? Oh, they're playing on PC because they have a mouse and, oh, I see. And like, I've always wanted to know what that felt like because I never really had a gaming PC until like, 2020 when I built one. But like, even then I didn't really play Call of Duty on there or anything like that. So I'm just like, ooh, like, this is going to be interesting, like,
It is.
to kind of like shoot and like use mouse controls, whether it be handheld or at the desk, or even if I'm playing it on the TV. So I'm excited about that. But does anybody have anything else about Star Fox they want to mention real quick before we move on to the next part?
I was about to ask for an aside. Any old school FPS players in here, like Half-Life or Counter-Strike or something? Not related.
I'm a Doom guy, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Dude,
I was going to add to what you were saying, Hector. I saw that with I think the mouse control. I think didn't it only control the crosshairs on it? At least that's what I remember on the direct. But
oh, I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
you still fly the ship, I think, with the
With
left
the left.
with the other one,
Yeah.
I actually thought like in my mind, because like I said, playing like pilot sims and all that, what would have been a kind of a cool idea is if you could do the mouse thing, and then the other one have like the actual joystick to actually pilot it, like an actual plant, like like a actual
What if they
jet.
sell an accessory?
I mean, that I think that was something that it came to mind because I since I was a kid, I wanted to be a pilot, so I saw like cockpits, and oftentimes they have it on one side where you steer, the other one's your throttle. So I was like, dang, that would have been kind of cool if they added something like that. So I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll come out with like you said, an accessory. But
Third party
So
for sure.
So
mhm.
speaking of accessories, one mechanic that I keep seeing with a lot of Switch 2 games, they did this with Donkey Kong as well, and I think like one or two other, I think it was like the Mario Party Jamboree thing. They're using Switch and Switch lights, um, for like I don't want to say semi backwards compatibility, but I'm mark it down right now. I think they're going to actually do something with like the regular Switches and the Switch Online or something.
I would look forward to that. Anyone else? Nope.
I love how I had to clear my throat for that. Oh my goodness.
Azzy, you're so funny. All right.
Well, I have a question on like, what do you think the soundtrack is going to be like? Because I like Star Fox 64 soundtrack a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a
Because I just took a big swig of water too.
I feel like
I remember playing Star Fox when it was on. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Azzy. Please.
Oh, I remember playing Star Fox when it was on Nintendo. That's the main one that I really played. And how it had the blockiness of like whenever they were talking, the whole mouth would spread like a cone and then that's like I remember playing that game and then Star Fox.
Yeah, that was good. That kind of was
That was
what makes
those
it.
were the days. Those were
Yeah.
the days.
They
I
Mhm.
were hard though.
yeah.
It was.
I want to go back to the music really quick. I think they'll do an iteration of it, um, and maybe adding new scores, especially with the cutscene, new cutscenes and stuff like that. But I think maybe, hopefully, I like when they do stuff like this where you can play it with the original music
Oh
and
yeah,
play it
like
with the new one. I like when they do it because you could still have kind of like your cake and eat it too. It'd be like, what did they do that for? I think they did that with Super Mario
RPG.
RPG. Yeah, and so you could play it with the original music. That way you could, this is it. Or, with like the better graphics or with the new arrangements. And so I think that'd be really cool if they did that.
They did it for the Final Fantasy X remaster as well.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh, they
that.
did? I have that
Hmm.
on PS5, so I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, the 10-10-2 bundle. You could choose to be the
Oh, it was a
original arrangement
bundle.
or yeah. Well, it was like on the same disc, and it had everything, including
Well,
the
I
stuff they
bought it
only had in
digitally.
Japan.
That's why. So I don't know if it'll have it. Maybe it
No, it will.
does.
It will. It's
Okay.
it's built into
Yeah.
each game.
Okay.
It should, considering how it was part of the game too after they released
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I'm gonna have to look that
Okay.
up now. But yeah, man. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited about this game nonetheless.
I
I'm
want to make
really
one comment. Sorry.
No,
It
go
was,
ahead.
it was in regards to what Aaron said earlier about jumping into wormholes and going to different solar systems. If Nintendo does do that with Star Fox, I think it'd be incredible, and you can make endless games at that point.
Well, that also leads into an issue that I had with the original Star Fox. Remember how General Pepper was like, "I'd love you to be part of the Cornerian army," and he was like, "Nah, Chief, I'm good." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"You went through the entire solar system, bro. Like, there's nothing out there. There's no work for you. There's no pension, no Roth IRA. There's no retirement for you. Like, at
Yeah.
least in the military. Like, it was just a weird thing that, yeah, you're right. I hope they expand on that.
It's funny because it comes up in the next game in Venture. They're like, the Great Fox is falling apart, guys. We need this money.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Next
I'm
game.
again. I'm really excited for that game. Which is why I really wanted to talk about it because I know it was a hot topic and we didn't really, we were taking an off week, So, thank you everybody for y'all's thoughts and stuff like that. So, next one, we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. So, as some of you know, and if you don't know, you will know soon. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, you guys. And what is the purpose for that as well? It's to educate, reduce the stigma, and encourage people to basically seek help for conditions like depression, like anxiety. And so it's really to the as far as the stigma reduction, right? It's like the core of the awareness movement. It's just reducing that stigma that prevents people from seeking help. We want people to seek help if you're feeling a certain type of way, right? And which is what this episode is about. We're gonna be. My hope is that we can share stories of lived experiences, right? That helps build empathy and understanding, and just to be relatable with it, right? And so how gaming. This is a gaming podcast, right? How gaming has basically been a positive impact on our mental health. And how, basically our thoughts and our experiences on gaming therapy in general. And, maybe share a game that's helped us through a tough time, so, Glitchy, would you care to start us off?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So as
Um,
far as mental health and gaming, how it's been a positive impact on you.
so it's been a long thing for me, and it was one of the reasons why I got this really useless paperweight that I really always lose all the time. I call it my college degree, but I got a degree in 3D animation and game design because I wanted to make games for others so that they would feel something, right? And with how the gaming industry is right now, obviously we know it's just tanking. The only ones who I think are going to survive are kind of just Nintendo, but Um, throughout my years, I grew up with like a Game Boy Advance, and that was like it. And I had like Mario Kart, Super Circuit, and Kids Next Door, a bunch of other lame games, but eventually that grew into the GameCube and a bunch of other stuff. And I have a plethora of stories, and I mean, they all are, for the most part, game related when it comes to like mental health. But I think the one that's most pertinent to today, actually, believe it or not, is Star Fox 64. And it's as ironic as that is because I, for people who don't know, I have lesbian parents. So I didn't have a dad or any kind of like male role model figure in like my life. So the part that kind of healed me a little bit and got me through stuff was, towards the end with the secret ending and stuff like that. And I would always play that harder route. And mind you, I was like preteen to a teen at the time. And, I would always go just to listen to that last line of "You've become so strong, Fox." And, it's one of those things where it's like I was a boy without his father. So I don't know. I still love my moms. I want to make that very clear. I don't want this to be like, oh, I like hate my moms. It's just I didn't have that like I'll say masculine dynamic, we'll say, or that get tougher kind of mentality. So it did affect me growing up, but I think it was a good thing for me when I was younger to just stumble on that with the Wii shop when they didn't use taxes for the Wii points.
Is there what is like a good memory of like the Star Fox 64? Like what's your favorite thing about it that
Mm,
like comforted you?
my favorite thing about it was, believe it or not, the journey. And even though the destination was very closing, like it was very like, yep, your dad's not there anymore, kid. Sorry, but hey, at least you're tough now. I think and as small as it may seem, because obviously they're all in ships and stuff like that, the companionship between you, Slippy, Falco, Peppy, and I felt like that was integral as like a young teen at the time, who, I wasn't popular in middle school, wasn't popular in high school. Actually in high school, um, because I wanted to try and like have friends. Just so sad. I like actually got like a bunch of stuff around the house that like seemed like cute little gifts that weren't, mind you, they weren't like terrible things. Like I think like one was like a mouse pad or something. That one of the classmates was like, I wish I had like a mouse pad that was like elevated. Um, so, I like brought gifts for people just like they actually had thought around it. Um, but I was like a freshman and I just wanted like friends, and it didn't work out the best, but like when I would go home and, there was a plethora of games that I had. I had a ton of games. Both digitally and like physically, like, being a GameCube kid. They were relatively cheap. Unlike today though. But Star Fox 64 and the companionship was always something that I truly enjoyed.
Yeah. No, that's really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
Aaron?
Let's see here. So gaming definitely is very important for a lot of people when it comes to mental health. The story that I have, and I'll be very careful with the verbiage. I know with how terminology can be with YouTube and everything. Um, when I was growing up, my mom's best high school friend moved in with us into our guest room. So, uh, my mother's father's sister's former roommate. No, but he was my Uncle Joe. I loved him so much. He was actually someone I aspired to be because he was really into PCs before we even had our own computer and everything. He had this really cool like he had an old school joystick that you plug into the computer, and it was this really cool space game, very actually very, pre Star Fox 64, but we keep going back to the space stuff. And at some point, I think he and my mom had a bit of a falling out. So eventually, he did move out and go to his own place. And I would visit him from time to time because he was my uncle. I loved him so much. And this was I don't know exactly how old I was, but I was playing Pokemon on my Game Boy, and I didn't realize that he had been suffering from depression. He had been spurned by someone who he loved that he was never going to uh, give those emotions back, and he ended up unaliving himself. And when we found out, my mom was in tears, came and told my sister, who was a few years older than me. She's freaking out. I kind of hear it and I hear them tell me too. And I just dove into my Pokemon game. I kind of used it to escape the world for a little while, to not think about the pain that's out there. And that's one of the reasons I think why I love Pokemon so much. It gave me a sense of comfort that even as bad as things get, I can escape to this world, be this protagonist, and play the game how I want. Do I want to become the champion? Do I want to just be a collector, a breeder, a shiny hunter, or what have you? And it gave me a big sense of comfort, and it really helped me stay sane during that time because it was someone I loved and admired and cared about so much is just wasn't going to be there anymore. And it was a very strange concept for a young person who'd never dealt with death at that level before, and
And
it was important to me.
can I ask how old you were? I might have missed that part.
Honestly, I feel bad. I don't remember exactly how old. I know it was. I think it was, however long ago. I'm pretty sure it was Pokemon Gold I was playing at the time. It was either Gold or
So
right before Gold, or it was like right at the end cycle of Blue
I think you were
for a
probably
while.
maybe 13 or 14 because I think today we had a discussion. You were like 12 years old when Blue came out,
Blue
Red
came out
Blue.
originally, yeah.
So
So
like
it had been my very early teens that this happened then. And but yeah, no, uh that's one thing that's always stuck with me for a long time, and I always appreciated the Pokemon series for always being a place of nostalgia and comfort that I can go back to whenever the world is pushing down on you and you can't really fight back. So it's just, you know what? I'm not going to listen to you, world. I'm going to go catch me a Pikachu.
yeah. Well, I didn't know that, Aaron. So my condolences, to you. It's never easy to lose somebody that you love, right? So,
Yeah,
um, but I'm glad that you found that outlet. You know,
thank you.
thank you for sharing. Azzy, how has gaming helped you and made a positive impact in your mental health and in your life?
Well, as you all know, I am an orphan. I don't really didn't really know my mother and my father until the age 20. Um, so going through numerous homes and the constant as a child, the one thing you don't want a child to ever feel like is, what did I ever do wrong to not feel belonged, to not feel wanted? Um, and that is constantly the weight and burden that I would carry as a child. And like Aaron, my go-to was Pokemon because my first friend um in one of the cities I was relocated to, he gave me an old Game Boy Advance that had, I believe it was green, leaf green in it. Um and he's like, try it, you might like it. And I'm just like, I don't know how to play it. What is this thing? Because considering how in the foster system you don't get access to a lot of resources. So he's like, here, I'll show you. So he's teaching me how to play the game. Um, and it's like every day after school, we'd meet up because I would walk home. We'd meet up. I'd take this game from him and be like, okay, what am I doing? Can you give me some tips? And he would walk me through it. Well, eventually he ended up losing his life at a young age due to illness. And his mother had told me, you were his one friend in school that actually he cared about. And he wanted me to tell you, you can have it. I still have it in my room to this day. And so whenever I get in my times, because life can be very hectic, I have a habit of jumping into games, and I like to, what a lot of people say is personify my games. So if I, like right now, how I'm currently playing ZA on stream, I like to personify my Pokemon because I like to think of people that I love, people that I want behind me, watching my back, fighting for me. And I'm just like, let's go. We can do this. Screw everything else. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna get there some way, somehow. And it's the constant motivation that I try to use myself when I am approaching problems, like even when I'm working on cars. Assess, predict, prepare. Those were the top three things I ended up having to grow up on at an early age. And with games, I still have that habit of doing. Like, if I just be a gym leader and I know the next gym leader is a certain level, like, okay, it's time to grind. And for me, it helped a lot because it was the realization like, I don't have to face reality every single minute of the day. I have my friends I can go to if I just need a hug or if I need to make a stupid joke. They have me and I have them. And then whenever I'm back home, I have my silly Pokemon that I can make do little dances and fight for me, like, because they love me.
Wow. And we love you too, Ezzy. And we thank you for sharing that. That's so heartbreaking. And so, like, I know there's somebody out there who, like, I don't know many people who, in my life, who have been orphaned. I've met, obviously, some people in my past, but, like, it's not somebody that I encounter, like, on a weekly basis. And so, I just know that your story will be relatable for somebody, and somebody is going to be able to see themselves um, in your story, and you're going to be a comfort to somebody. So I appreciate you having the vulnerability to share that. First of all, that takes a lot of courage, and so thank you. That's
You're
really nice.
welcome.
Of course.
I still live by the motto, where because I have a lot of younger siblings, um, some of them are very far away, but I still text them like, hey, let's play a game or two. You know what I have? Let's go. I know you're logged in.
Like that scene in Smiling Friends where Mr. Boss catches Charlie on Steam.
Exactly.
You guys are silly. But thank you for that. That does mean a lot to us, and to me as well. So thank you. Kobo, you're next, buddy. How has gaming had a positive impact on you and your mental health? And if you could share.
I think similarly to a lot of us, uh it's allowed an outlet for me. Growing up, I mean, I've been through quite a bit. I mean, I had parents that didn't have the greatest relationship, and being an only child, you kind of hear about it. You get forced into roles you don't want to be in. So for me, it was that middle person, that mediator, which I was like, why am I here like that? It took me years to figure out like, hey, that's not supposed to be me. Um, there was that. There was, times where my dad just wasn't around sometimes, and my mom had to be the one to, be the one to raise me, to show me a lot of things. Uh, there's also times in my life where I went through it. Um, Being just completely transparent, it was just some of the darkest and roughest times of my life where um a lot of thoughts went into my head. I'm just gonna say that. And I still found a way to persevere simply because it's like you have that outlet, that escape for a little bit. It gives you a chance to, for me, whenever I'm going through campaigns, going through the game, I go through the journey. So it's kind of like the figuring it out as you're going. You're figuring out the game, but you're also figuring out the situation, the moment you're going through, I feel like. And I feel like for me, it's just been a thing. It's been big and small kind of for me. So it's been from the first time I touched a Nintendo controller to, the Sega Genesis. That one, the Sega Genesis has just like a really soft spot for Sonic, especially. I know that I think I don't know if I've talked about it last time I was on the podcast, but the Dreamcast has a very, very special place in my heart, especially during a time when we were doing so good financially. But my mom came through and still showed up with the Dreamcast. I was like, oh, happiest kid on Christmas. And it was Sonic Adventure. I don't care what nobody says. Sonic Adventure is that's the game. But it even comes down to, like, in that case, like the soundtracks. So for me, I guess like I said, I have a lot of stories, but if I had to narrow it down to one, I think about like I said, the hardest time of my life was during college. It was just hard. I was the first time I was away from home, and I was trying to make the best of it. It was good times, a lot of good times, but then it ended up becoming really bad at some point. A lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, a lot of we'll talk about it, like depression. Um, at that time, I think I had faced it before, but I never really identified it as such. Which is funny because even the first, like before that, when I felt that, I was still gaming. I was playing all kinds of games. I was personifying. I was playing what is it, Fight Night, one of the boxing games. I was like, yeah, that'd be cool to be that, someday or something. I was like, you work at it and all that. You get to have your little training montage and all that. But going back to the story, it's just I remember at that time it was Halo 3 and Reach. Um I remember it just kind of it came through in the sense that I was going through a lot of pressures through my relationships at the time. I remember it was just like a very toxic situation overall. And not just the relationship, it was just the situation being in that campus. A lot of negativity in that community. I won't say I won't say names, but I remember it wasn't just me. I remember a lot of people just weren't feeling it, but we're college students. We're trying to make it. It had brought up thoughts of, not being around anymore. Let's just say that. And it took that. I mean, the gaming for me, like I was saying, I was trying to push through. So if you know Halo, it's like you're pushing through hard times, through war. In a way, I took it as that metaphor. Like you're pushing through your own battles. And you kind of reach the end. I mean, I remember specifically Halo 3. It's like the conclusion of that first trilogy and all that, and you make it. I was trying to get all the skulls and all that too, so I was like repeat, repeat. It was just a lot of stuff that you had to trial and error. And I remember taking that for myself, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try this when I get off of this. I got off. I'm gonna try this. Try to do this differently. So finally, I it came to the conclusion, you know what, I need to get out of here. I need to go back home, regroup, and start over fresh. And that was the best thing that I did. I mean, I remember at the time it was the hardest thing. Uh, and for me, that was relatable in just for, like I said, it was just like you don't want to quit sometimes. You don't want to leave something, but sometimes you just gotta be able to be like, you know what? Let's just go another direction. And then when you're trying to collect those skulls, sometimes it's not the way you had thought it was going to be. Sometimes you got to try something different in order to get to achieve that goal to kind of make it through. And or you're in the harder difficulties. So for me, it was just I think that realization, letting go of that ego, and change direction and realize, you know what, this was better for me. And I mean, gaming, like I said, it gives you that outlet. It's kind of like if you have that pressure point, or I mean, you kind of can escape. You can be personify, or you can be that guy. You can be the protagonist. It helps you just sort out your thoughts. So I felt like with mental health, sometimes it's all it takes is that you need that moment to sort it out while you're doing an activity. Whether, I mean, and gaming just happens to be one of my favorites. So I mean,
As I think it is for all of us, Um, so I like that. I like the parallels that you made, for like life and what's happening in the game, and that kind of gave you a fresh perspective. It gives you, time to, like a lot of us have been saying, escape. It's escapism, but also it gives us time to sometimes, even with gaming, if something's not clicking, you
mhm.
figure out a different way. But the way that you do that sometimes is that you take time away from it, then you come back to it. And like with gaming, it's like you take time away from your problems, you take time away from that situation, you come back, you can, you're adaptable, but you come back and you're able to figure it out because maybe
Yeah,
fresh
I think
perspective.
that going to your point, like as well, is just like I think the biggest thing I've always seen it as like you change a different perspective. Because sometimes we're stuck in one view. We're like, you know what, it's got to be this way. It's got to be this way. But when you take this moment, like I said, for us, it's just taking that second. You know, I'm time out. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna do something that I like, and sometimes that opens up your overall view on life and your situation, and your like you said, your overall perspective, and that gives you more options. It gives you more ways to solve your problems. Not or it even maybe sometimes it allows you to say, hey, you know what, I'm not alone in this. I got friends, or uh, you know, whatever your resources can be that you may need at that time. So a change of perspective is always good, I think. And I think that's what games really it's one of the lessons that you got to learn to be good at the game.
Get good, get good at
Be
the
good.
game, and get good at life.
Mhm.
Thank you, Kobo. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Phil.
Oh, you're muted, bro.
So
Oh, there it is. Mhm.
yeah. So uh to me, playing video games was just a way to you can say escape, but when I was younger, it just helped me pass time. Sometimes when I'm by myself, I'll just grab like an RPG from my NES days or my Super Nintendo get days, and it helped keep me occupied. I wasn't that much of a book reader. Uh, but some of the games I would play back then would help like build and expand my imagination to it would introduce me ideas of like friendship and like conquering certain problems that I would have never thought of, but they were introduced to me in a healthy way. And when I got older, started having friends, we would come over or I would go over there to their houses and just play. We would bond in that way. And it was a lot of fun, especially during the 64 era. And as I got older with PC, it was more playing games online, but it helped. it helped me just relax. The game didn't matter too much as long it was if it was mildly challenging and not too difficult. Because when it got too difficult, that's when I started getting angry, started getting stressed out. But besides that, if I was occupied playing a game, that was all that helped me de-stress, just relax. Games that come to mind, any RPG that you had to grind in. A lot of people look at grinding as like, oh, grinding is boring. I gotta sit here and fight the same monsters over and over again until my monsters are strong enough to beat the next boss, next dungeon boss. If you ever played Pokemon Gen 1 with Charmander, you had that problem in the first two Pokemon gyms because there weren't any Pokemon to help you fight Brock or help you fight Misty that I could remember. And so you have to constantly grind it at the very beginning. And that grind, while it may bore others, that was like my introduction to like cozy gaming. Because when you play games like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, you're kind of doing the same. You're kind of relaxing the same things over and over again. And I felt that way when I was grinding in earlier games. But nowadays, how does gaming help out with stress or just trying to relax? Some of it is like actively game. I haven't been too preoccupied with video gaming within the past couple of months, but when I do play something, it it just helps keep me occupied. But when I reflect on gaming of my earlier of from my youth, like my favorite video game of all time is Chrono Trigger. It was a RPG for the Super Nintendo. I would go back and look at people who were playing Chrono Trigger for the first time, and I would get excited. I would watch, see their reactions, see how they looked at certain levels or certain moments in the game, and sometimes the way that they would react, it's like, wow, that's how I reacted. Or sometimes they'll come across a different conclusion, and it's like, oh, I never looked at it like that. And seeing people play like my favorite video games and when they beat them, it was like, oh, this was such an incredible experience. It just helped me bond. Seeing other people play. I used to criticize people who just watch other people play. It's like, why do they do that? That's no offense. I thought it was kind of lame, but when I see people playing the games that I grew up playing, like I got it. I get it. I see how even watching other people play, especially a game that you fell in love with, was like very comforting and relaxing for me. and and sometimes I'll go through the comments of people who play of those videos, and they'll say stuff like, "Man, this video game changed my life." It's like I get it because it changed my life too in a way. Or I'll read a comment saying like, "My dad bought me this video game when I was younger, but he passed away," and it's like, hey, my dad also bought that game. And I will comment by saying, hey, my dad also bought this video game. And unfortunately, he passed as well. My dad passed away in 2013. So I get it. It was even the reflection part of gaming, just being able to bond with people. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. That's all.
Thank you, Phil. My father also passed away in 2012. So, and that right there is what I definitely feel and understand that because my dad bought me my PS2 and it's sitting here right in front of me on my desk and I just actually brought it out a couple of days ago and started playing some stuff. But just the fact that like my dad really didn't like gaming and he didn't like me playing games because he thought I was going to turn my brain to mush, which he was correct. But you know, it's he bought it for me anyway because he just loved his son. And Phil, I know he talked a little bit about it, but he had told me the story of how his dad bought him Wave Racer.
Yep.
And I really connected with that because like, you know, both of our dads are gone, both and they both bought us video games and it's such a good memory, you know. So it's such a cool memory at that. And sometimes game, you know, like Phil said, just to pass time, but also I think this is true for all of us, is that games were the best part of growing up. they're some of our best memories growing up. And sometimes it's not, maybe we're not going through something at the moment, but we're on a high. It's just a good memory, and it basically keeps us from having a low point where it keeps it like a home at our mental health at a homeostasis, right? It's like this like thing where it's like constantly good, not changing. So thank you, Phil.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
let me briefly talk about the wave race thing. So
Please.
when my parents bought us a 64, I wanted to play Super Mario 64 really badly. It was like the first real 3D Mario game, and I was like, man, I really want to play this game. I saw Wave Race 64, and I thought I was like, hey, that's a cool looking game. Didn't think too much about it, but I guess my dad had different plans. He probably looked at Wave Race 64 was like, man, I want to buy my son this game. That's probably what he was thinking. And on Christmas Day, I see Mario 64 and I see Wave Race 64 is like, hey, I wasn't too big on trying to get this game. And then when I played it, oh my gosh, I fell in love with it. Fell in love with the gameplay, the the graphics, the stages, the circuits, and then the soundtrack, memorable, Chef's Kiss. So I'm glad my dad did that. He saw something in that game that I was like, wow, I will remember this for the rest of my life.
Hey, I love that. I love that, Phil. Lynn, bring us home. How has gaming how has gaming been a positive impact on you and your mental health?
Um, well, so I guess a lot of people don't know that I have always struggled with depression, amongst other mental ailments that I won't elaborate too much on at this moment. But when I was younger, mental health and mental health awareness weren't exactly a thing in my family. So we kind of all just lived a really stressful and toxic life in our household. And of course, I didn't really know what was wrong with me, just knew that something wasn't right, especially after leaving home and like living amongst the people in the world. I realized pretty quickly that my behaviors were maladaptive or not always appropriate. So it was a pretty long and confusing journey of getting to know myself, as it is with anybody, right? But at the time when I was living at home, it was mainly that escape that I longed for, I guess, that as it is for all of us. But I mean, I lived out in the country, so there really wasn't much to do. So I just tried to escape the best that I could. Actually, when I was younger, like a little kid, I mostly played outside. I had a big imagination, so I was always outside, just making up stories. That was a big thing for me too, was the maladaptive daydreaming. I struggled with that for a lot of my life. But as I got older, I found that my biggest escapes were things like movies and video games and stuff like that, which of course I always loved. Uh, when I was younger, I know we had an NES, but like I think it only worked like 10% of the time, so I pretty much gave up on that pretty quickly. I couldn't really do much with that. So I always say my first console was the PlayStation 1. Whenever I was 6, my uncle bought that for me and my sister when we were, I think it was for Christmas when we were little. And I didn't really have the type of parents to spoil me. I had to beg for things pretty much. My my dad was kind of emotionally absent. Love him. He also passed away some years ago. But my mom, she was the type that was very like push pull. Sometimes she was proud of you and stuff, and other times it was complete opposite. So it was very confusing for me as a child. But so I didn't get a lot of stuff when I was younger. I think for the PS1, I had like a few Rugrats games. I had Croc. That game was really hard, but I love that game. Well, at least for me when I was younger, it was challenging. Um, but I honestly, I'm probably played the demo disc more than anything, any game that I had. I was 6, so I played whatever I had access to. So I didn't get like I really loved gaming then, but it wasn't the same as when I got older because I was so young and I didn't have access to a lot of things. And then, of course, I got my Game Boy when I was 9, when my dad took me to the pawn shop, and Pokemon became my life at that point. And then I eventually got a Game Boy Advance, DSi, 3DS. Didn't have all the Nintendo systems, unfortunately. Also had a Wii too when I was younger too. Um, but then it wasn't until I want to say middle school, my parents got us Xbox 360 for Christmas, and I had a few games, and I started to get a little bit more into that. And then in high school, I found out about Little Big Planet, and I was like, I need that game. I need that game. So like I
PS3,
wanted,
baby.
yes, I was like, I need to switch to PlayStation. And I was quite shocked because like again, my mom, she's very kind of push pull. But I was shocked that on my 15th birthday, she brings home a PS3 with Little Big Planet. I was like so shocked that she even remembered the game that I wanted. Look at Sackboy. Love him.
I have it too, but it's in a box in storage.
Aw. But yeah, like that's I needed it, right? And I was excited that my mom had gotten me. And then I fully converted to PlayStation. Like I love PlayStation at that point. Like I loved everything about it. On my PS3, I like you could download movies and stuff, like illegally torrent them and stuff like that. So, I was doing that as a child. Like it was fun. Um, and that's when I really started to kind of get into it. And I didn't play the 360 so much anymore after I got the PS3. But I remember in high school, I think I was on a UIL trip. It was like a state UIL trip, and we were like in all the girls like shared a suite. And one of the girls took her 360 and she was playing Assassin's Creed, and I'd never like played it or seen anything of it. And I was like, "Are you climbing the building?" I was like so thrilled to see like everything she was doing. So I immediately had to get the game for myself. And like all I wanted to do was talk about it to everybody that I met. And one of my sister's friends, he had come over one time, and I was just talking away. I was like, "Oh my gosh, have you played Assassin's Creed? Have you done this? Have you blah blah blah?" And I was like, "What's your favorite game?" And he's like, "Mass Effect." And I was like, "What's that?" Like I've never heard of that before. And he's telling me, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's like you're traveling in space, you get to meet all these aliens, you get to like have romances with them and like all this stuff." And I was like, I'm interested. And then he brought me Mass Effect 2 for the 360, which I wasn't playing the Xbox a lot. I really wanted everything on my PlayStation, but I gave it a try. And I fell in love. And I started off with Mass Effect 2. I hadn't even played the first one, but it didn't even matter. I loved the game. That game saved my life. Like, that's where I really kind of like grew more attached to gaming than I ever was. It helped me kind of escape the chaos a lot of the time, um, and just everything about the game, like the fact that like, well, I'm an indecisive person, so it's kind of ironic that I love games where I have to make big decisions and things happen. But I loved that, like especially with like Mass Effect, how like everything that you did in the previous game would carry into the next game, and I feel like you don't see that a lot in games even now, like and so I feel like that's really unique to Bioware games that I really love. But it's not even just like the escaping of it either. Kind of like going back to what Kobo said was like it was an outlet, especially for when I was younger. I had a lot of anger. I was very angry. And so it's interesting because I don't know if anyone here has played Mass Effect, but like you could be Paragon or Renegade, like you could be kind of like a jerk, or you could be like a sweetheart. And so like it's kind of interesting, kind of going back and like seeing that like when I was younger, I was like a full on renegade. Like I was like a jerk to everybody in the game. Like that was just me, because I was really angry. And like this is a game series that I have played like multiple times. And so like now that I'm older, like I'm like full Paragon, and it's so hard for me to be like rude in the game. So it's interesting to kind of go back and see how like my perspective and things have changed over the years. And just to kind of see that, because for me, like sometimes when I look back at my past self, it's like it doesn't even feel like myself. I struggle with depersonalization sometimes, and so um, it's I don't know. It just kind of helps me realize, okay, it's just because I've learned things, I've grown, I'm becoming a better person, stuff like that. Um, but yeah, and I don't know. I have the kind of brain that it just goes a million miles an hour. It never stops. It really doesn't. And so gaming also kind of it helps to give me something to focus on. Because if not, I'll stay in my head all day. And I have really exhausting and excruciating emotions that are physically painful. So usually, if I'm not doing something, that's what's taking over, or I'll start to have experience some paranoia and things like that. So the gaming really kind of helps to slow my brain down and just kind of bring me back to the center and stuff like that. But aside from that and just the escape of it all, I've met some really amazing people through gaming, and some lifelong friends. So, and generally speaking, I just think that gaming is a great form of therapy. So, because while I get to escape reality and have that outlet and stuff, you also get the benefits of exercising your cognitive skills and critical thinking. And that's why I don't agree that it turns your brain to mush, because if anything, if you think about it, vast majority of people, they just like go home, want to watch a show or watch a TV, and then they'll judge you for playing games. But like, how is that any better than playing games? If anything, when I'm playing games, I'm like exercising those cognitive skills, my hand-eye coordination, my memory, my
That
focus.
creativity, yeah.
Exactly.
Zelda puzzles, baby.
There was, I think it was a Harvard study that actually did reference Zelda puzzles and brain functionality and how it helped improve it. So it's funny that you mentioned Zelda actor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it. But Lynn, thank you so much for sharing as well. Um, the whole thing about like where you were talking about it quiets your brain, it gives it something to focus on. Where like it's like loud, it's noisy, it's like, and then like the calm, just something to, gives you something to do, gives you something to, to where you can relax and decompress, but also get your feelers out. I remember when we did this specific episode with Abel and I, where it was just us two. And one thing I had mentioned was, if I'm feeling some sort of way, it's a healthy outlet to get those feelers out. If I'm angry, if I'm upset, I can put on God of War and beat the snot out of somebody. I can put on Mortal Kombat. I can put on and just and now Donkey Kong Bonanza and just stuff something into the ground. And so to get those in a healthy way where it's not and there was a huge discussion with like, Grand Theft Auto and violence in video games and all that stuff. It's just like, do you want me to go outside and do what I do in the video game in real life? No, of course not. That's why I do it in the game. And so I think that I do agree with you where it doesn't turn your brain to mush. It does help in a lot of ways, and it's actually very helpful. It's very healing. It can be healing, right? And help you deal with those emotions and help you deal with that stress and anxiety and depression. Because I've been there. I've been there. And it sometimes feels like you're drowning. And gaming was a life preserver that floated me back up. So I definitely can see your point. And thank you. Thank you to everybody for just, I know this is a heavy topic. I know it can be maybe triggering sometimes, but ultimately, like, if we talk about it, a lot of times we feel better afterwards anyway. And we're not alone here. This is not this isn't, in some ways it is a therapy session, but it's not a therapy session, right? This is a discussion. This is a something that we can do to share and to be vulnerable with each other, to get to know each other better, and through these experiences relate together. We all have, gaming has done the same thing for all of us, and that's made us happier. It's made us escape. It's done a lot of the same things for all of us, and we are different people from all like different. Some of us are not even in the same city, the same state. So, but look at where we are, and look at what we're doing. Look at what we're talking about. Look at these shared experiences that we have together. We're different ages, we're different backgrounds, so I just think it's an amazing topic. And I know if anybody listens to this, if you're listening to this, or if you're watching this, and you're struggling with mental health, seek help. Tell somebody you trust. Tell somebody that is going to help you. And if you don't have that in your life, there are resources. You can go to Google, you can look up hotlines, you can do all that. There's a bunch of resources available for you. And so I really wanted to focus on that this month because this is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is a topic that you can easily talk about, but I don't think it's talked about enough. Um, and I don't think that it's something to be taken lightly, but it's also something that needs to not be ignored. So, thank you everyone for speaking in this panel. I want to close out on not too much of a somber note, right, but something uplifting and happy. I wanted us to share some games, some game recommendations for our audience out there, for our listeners, anybody seeing this, listening to this, that maybe have helped you. I know some of us have mentioned some of the games that we played, but maybe some other things that, some games that maybe helped you or that you think would make a positive impact in somebody's life, or even, that would help you process. For me, I love Celeste. It actually deals with, the topic of mental health. It is a platformer, a 2D platformer, incredibly hard, but really rewarding. And you can also change the settings to make it a little easier. It's really accessible that way. But I love Celeste. I think it really it helped me channel that and process, what I was going through at the time. And I mention this all the time. That is the only game that I've played all the way through in one sitting, because what the character was going through, I was going through. And I just was so intrigued. I felt seen, I felt heard, and I wanted to finish the story to see how she came out on the other side, because I wanted to get there.
Hey, Hector, any specific parts of that character that you related to? Or parts of the story that you related
Running from herself. This dark version of herself, and the darkness essentially in herself, but kind of, what is the word? Facing that and embracing and like just not running from who you are, but learning how to face it to where you can basically coexist in a healthy way. And the music is dope. The music is fantastic. But yeah, and this part is a free for all. If you want to just talk, if you want to, I know I usually call on people, but if you give me your recommendations, make this a discussion.
Oh, I thought we would like kind of go in order.
No,
Yeah.
whatever you guys want. Embrace the chaos.
Well,
Yeah.
relating to
Chaos.
you, Hector.
Chaos.
I will say you are much cheaper than going through insurance, so that is a plus, Hector. But I would recommend Mario Galaxy to literally anyone. I think there's a nuance to its ambience that isn't really felt in any other Mario game, and I'm specifically talking about the first one. That was another game that I played, very much to unwind, take in the scenery. And at the time, it was a very beautiful game, and to this day, I still think it's a very beautiful game. But I would recommend that.
Glitch, really quick question. I didn't mean to cut you off. Just really quick. I always ask this of everybody, especially someone who's truly enjoyed the first Galaxy game. Did the ending make you like choke up a little bit, maybe tear up a little bit
Oh yeah,
with the
absolutely.
sacrifices and
If
everything?
anything, I'm more upset that the Mario Galaxy movie did not actually adapt any of like the game. Um, and I have to test this when I get the DVD, but I think Fox McCloud got more screen time than Rosalina, which kind of upsets me even more because her story was one of acceptance. And, even though Miyamoto now sees a little more in regards to like story in Mario games, I forget who it was. Was it Koji Kondo? One of the directors of the game actually implemented the story in behind Miyamoto's back. And, I felt like that was very much needed. And I felt like I felt like when I was playing that game, because believe it or not, Azzy, I actually grew up in somewhat of a foster care system myself, through I'll just say like big pharma and stuff like that. And as a child, I was, let's just say, I want to say experimented on. Just they were trying different SSRIs and stuff for my own, um, you know, issues and depression and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
to give the lab rat analogy would be adequate given the weight gain, weight loss, bloating, pins and needles, sluggishness, feeling like my entire body was on fire. That was a weird one. Um, and as someone who turned away from that, using not only just video games, but now like fitness and stuff. That's actually a big part of my channel, where I tell people to go to the gym, or I'll give like an exercise or something like that, like in my SpongeBob episode. Because some people might not know this as well, that there's I forget the specific name of this molecule, but um, its nickname is the hope molecule, and it's released through your endorphins and stuff like that, when you work out. And essentially, think of it like the human spirit.
Mhm.
Um, and growing up, it was rough as well. And I think Mario Galaxy is, if you want a more relaxed, experience. This way, it's not like Doom Eternal, where it's like high energy, high adrenaline, like you're always moving. I mean, that's therapeutic too, but that's more of the like, I don't know, like you're really mad at someone, like someone put pickles on your burger, so that kind
It's a
of thing.
very
I
specific situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
very.
feel that.
They did, or maybe they didn't put enough pickles on my burger. Like I'm a pickle guy, so I just.
you can keep the pickles. Hmm.
But does anyone else have a game of relaxation or game of choice that you kind of just mindlessly play? I think that's something that is also important, is like the mindless aspect of it. You don't have to force it.
I talked to Hector about this earlier today. We were discussing a little bit of the podcast earlier. Uh, I have two recommendations. One is the Hades franchise, which is visually gorgeous. Soundtrack is gorgeous. The gameplay is a lot of fun. It's definitely obviously it's a roguelite genre, so it's just something that you don't have to commit to all the time. When you die, you could just say, okay, I'm done for the day. I'm going to just turn it off for now, save my game, and collect my currencies, make myself a little better, do better next time, or just keep playing over and over. And I think it does it in such a fun way that you're always seeing new things, and it's always exciting to play, especially unless you play for, about a month straight, and then eventually you go through all the dialogue options and sleep with everyone who you can sleep with, whichever game it happens to be. That's a great series. My other big recommendation, and I think it also goes into the cozy slash tidying games, if that makes sense, like the your power wash simulator kind of situations where the completion aspect is there. That's actually not my recommendation. My recommendation is any of the games from the Katamari series, the Katamari Damacy series.
Ooh, good pick.
Roll them
Mm.
up, roll them up.
Roll
Oh
them up.
yeah.
And I always had a lot of comfort with that game. Some friends from high school were the ones who originally recommended the game. I found that at GameStop for $20 originally, way back in the day, and I loved it. And then every time a new game came out, I was so excited. And it's always such a bright and whimsical game. You'll learn a lot about Japanese culture, which is a lot of fun, especially if you were already a big anime fan. It's like, hey, I get that reference. I know what that is. I know what happens when you step on a welcome mat to a store, and he goes, "Yasharimasen." And it's like, I know I've heard that in an anime before, and all the different references and things, but they do it in such a bright, colorful way. The soundtrack is always gorgeous, especially the first game, because everything was original, and they always had, the song was always about the Katamari in some way, that it's always singing about the ball, and it was so whimsical and a lot of fun. And I think that's one of those games you could either you could do better if you focus, but you can also just turn your brain off and play eternal mode and just roll everything up with that cleaning up everything of the world aspect of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mm.
I have another one that I really want to play again because I didn't actually I played it for college to get a reference for my game. But now I actually really want to finish it. It's an indie game called Blue Fire. Um, there think Legend of Zelda meets Super Meat Boy.
Is it the little guy with like the hat, like the little?
The little hood and he's got like the
Yeah,
mask on. Yeah.
yeah,
It
like white
is
white eyes, just
yeah,
like that.
white
I
mask, blue
played
eyes.
that game. It's
So
actually
good.
yeah.
It is there's something about it where I like got halfway through, I got stuck on something, couldn't remember what I had to do. It's very much a you sit through the entire thing or you gotta remember what you did the last time and not play any games in between, pretty much like Zelda. Um
Sounds like Fez as well. Fez was like that for me too.
yeah, there's some games that just drive me up a wall because of that, where it's like I was like, ah shoot,
So Blue
what was I
Fire is
doing?
basically Fez, but like 3D and like walking around,
Hmm.
kind of like that. Yeah, it has that vibe to it.
Mm.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's shout outs for an indie game, like that. Not many of those
Celeste,
that,
Celeste, indie game.
well, there is Celeste, but I think what was it like? Yeah, Blue Fire did not sell like Celeste. I
No,
will
it
say.
didn't. No, it
I
didn't.
will say.
But I bought it. Hey, we bought it. There's another person here that bought it. So,
That's true. That actually surprised me more. I was like, wait, he bought it?
yep.
Did you play Blue Fire on Steam or on Switch?
On Switch for me.
D, none of the above, PlayStation.
I think I saw it in like a beat 'em ups game or something, and beat 'em ups game, beat 'em ups video, and like an eShop game. But it just looked interesting. I think I actually.
For me,
I
it was
think
Nitro Rad. Nitro Rad.
you know what? I think we made a video. I think Nintendo Friends made a video about like 5 Switch games you should play, and that was one of them. So interesting. But anyone else? Games. Give me your recommendations.
Um, I may sound a bit cliche for this, but I don't care. I say
We don't judge.
wholeheartedly the Final Fantasy games. I played the entire series.
That's
Um,
not cliche at all.
That I was gonna
it's
say.
it's because for me, it's like you know how a lot of majority of the games go. Dark events happen. Your friends are the ones that stand by you majority of the time, and they're the ones pushing you to like, hey, we got this. You're not alone. I like the whole morality of the story because it was the constant reminder of like, hey, you're not alone. You have like a buddy down the freaking street that said, let's go get a hot dog or steal some Cheetos from the gas station.
Oh, you guys are gonna be so mad at me for saying that I haven't played Kingdom Hearts yet.
That's
I haven't played it.
What?
No,
You're
no,
I
no
haven't
one's,
played it.
no one's
No
perfect.
judgment. No one's perfect. No
Sorry.
one's perfect.
Whole
It is
bunch
a good. They are a
perfect.
good game. There is a lot of Kingdom Hearts games though, so it can be a bit of work.
Yeah.
And they were spread out so much. It's like that's kind of
Yeah.
what I couldn't do it.
Aren't they each like 50 hours too? Like I feel like if I just did 1, 2, and 3, I'd
They
be
can be a
satisfied.
little long. Like yeah.
If you're a
Yeah.
completionist, it could take a while, but if you just do burn through the story, don't worry about the like the side bosses and stuff. You could just plow through the story and you'd be just fine for the most part.
No,
Pretty
no one would
much.
chastise me for it because
And
like
it's funny
No.
because like don't
Mhm.
sleep on like those little spin-offs. Like I played the one on PSP and I was like, this is good.
Birth
Like
by Sleep was one of my favorites.
yeah,
Through,
I was
58 over 2 days is probably my favorite though, just because I love seeing
Yeah.
Roxas' story.
oh, I don't
It
think I could.
it was definitely if I was picking stories, I would say the first Kingdom Hearts one where Sora likes I'm not gonna spoil it. Just know like he made an honorable thing. He did an honorable thing even though it caused events. But the first one for me was like, okay, I truly love this game. And it got me hooked. Birth by Sleep would be my third, and then 365 over 8 days is my second.
interesting. I've never heard somebody say that before. But yeah, don't sleep on the Kingdom Hearts games. I literally that first one was like I didn't know what was going on. I didn't in the sense of like what is this?
Isn't
This
it
is
on Steam
this
now?
is magical.
It
Like
sure is on Steam now, I
Hmm.
believe.
Oh God,
It
I gotta
is.
wait for like a big old sale.
It's
Wait, so
it's every single game, and then all the side games that don't get the re-release, it's like their cutscene
bro, it
version,
goes
so you
on
don't miss the
sale.
story.
It go glitchy. It
okay.
It
goes on
goes on sale
sale
a lot.
on PlayStation all the time.
Wait, so hold on, because there's like 1.5 plus 2.5 remix, then 3 plus Remind DLC
Hmm.
plus 2.8, which 2.8, like,
Yeah.
wait,
Yeah, this is why
so
we said you're in for a ride.
what does why does 2.8 count? What's the
Two
difference
point eight's
between?
the 2.8 is the prequel. Sorry, it's the sequel to Birth by Sleep that leads into Kingdom Hearts 3.
So that's the point three, like, because
Hmm.
like a two. So then what's the point five? What's the point one? Like, you
Point
know,
1.5 and 2.5 are like the final remixes that include all of the side stories and the spin-off
And
games
like
for
DLC,
each of
right?
those games. And yeah,
Yeah,
well,
DLC.
don't DLC, just like the features from the Japanese versions of the games that got re-released. It's
That's right.
all of that plus all the side stories. So like in 1.5, it's going to be
Yeah, I do
the
know there's
create
like
of the two
extra like
games
missions or whatever story or like
and
cutscenes or
other
something.
side game. What's it called? Chain of Memories is also included in 1.5.
Oh yeah, I forgot
oh
about Chain of
Many
Memories.
jeez.
people did. The GBA version was the best one. Lexius number 5 is my favorite, and he had a much better fight in that game than he did in the PlayStation 2 remake.
Why does Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of look like a PlayStation 2 game? Like it doesn't look like a PlayStation 4 game. Like am
I
I
mean,
just crazy
I remember.
for
No, I remember I had fun with that one.
I thought it looked much. You could definitely tell a difference.
like
Yeah.
graphically speaking it looks
Hey, are you looking at it right?
Hmm.
So I haven't played too much of
Oh!
Remember,
Kingdom
you got an
Hearts.
angle.
I haven't
Wait,
played too much of Kingdom Hearts, but like, should you play all of the games?
No,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna play one, two,
no,
and three. I'm not gonna go crazy, and if
you don't have
anything,
to.
I'm
Like you
gonna
really
wait to
don't.
start. Well, the thing is, I also
If you
want to
want
stream it.
the If you want the complete story, then it's recommended to play all of the games, including
Okay.
2.5 and 2.8. If you really just want the main campaign, like the main upfront story without a lot of details, 1, 2, and 3 are going to be your go-to.
Yeah, because like
Okay, because
I
I
don't.
thought some of them sounded like remakes or something or remasters, but they are. You should play all of them if you want the full story.
Why would I
they're
Yes,
care?
canonical.
originally speaking, 2.8 and 2.5, they build off of a lot of the side characters that you don't get a lot of interaction of in the main campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't really like. I'm like, okay, so maybe I wouldn't because I don't care about the side characters, I guess, that
And the
much.
whole thing for that is that you don't even need to play it on that like the 2.5 to like you really don't. If you just want the meat and potatoes of it, play it on original hardware.
Oh God,
That like
I don't have
I've
the
gone
hardware for
into
that.
several gaming shops, like game over video game stores, and like where I got Kingdom Hearts for like 15 bucks. That's like I have like a copy and mine was like 10, 15 bucks. And so like play it on original hardware. Like it'll be fun. Like there and you can
As
also you could do it for the channel. There's many options, right? For
Oh
that.
no, I would never review these for the channel. The videos would be like 3 hours long, easy, because my Ocarina of Time one was over an hour long.
Yeah. But I
So
mean like I'm just saying there's options, right? Like there's you don't have to necessarily do those like because it can be confusing, but
when I
yeah,
get popular enough, I'll make sure to stream it. Absolutely.
for
Because
sure.
Should you play
Um
uh,
Kingdom Hearts in like number order or release order?
oh, there's a
In
difference. Oh God.
number order.
number order.
Number order, because release order confused the conflict a lot.
It
Oh
confused
no.
everybody. I
Oh
had to
Yeah.
like
jeez.
read what like when it
Now,
takes
if
place.
you're trying to go off of, because a lot of times what Kingdom Heart did is it released the beginning of the story, but then you have a prequel to the beginning of that story.
Wait, so
So,
wait, this one comes with
chronologically speaking, it will have to go in the order the stories go, which can be very confusing.
Wait, so I have 1.5. So this is
Gotcha.
what,
Thank
wait,
you.
1.5, 2.8. Wait, 1.5 plus 2.5, and then there's 2.8 HD.
You're overthinking it.
I overthink a lot. And then
So,
there's
okay.
3.
We
So,
can discuss
okay.
it later. I
I
think
know.
this is a
Yeah.
big topic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it
is
is a very big
my head's
topic.
hurting.
No worries. But Kingdom Hearts is a very awesome franchise. It just brings Final Fantasy and Disney together. Like those are two things I don't think anybody really thought about like putting together, but it works so well. But yeah, they're amazing games. I think they are, especially
Mhm.
that
Speaking of
first
Final
one.
Fantasy, for anyone that has played a Final Fantasy game, my favorite is 6.
So
All time.
Yes.
6, but it's 3, but it's 6, but it's 3. Explain that.
So when it was originally released in the United States, Square Soft released um, in Japan Final Fantasy 4, but when it came stateside, it was released as Final Fantasy 2 because the original Final Fantasy 2 and 3 did not come over stateside. And when it came to Final Fantasy 6 in Japan, they released that as the next Final Fantasy here in the United States as Final Fantasy 3. So the Japanese versions of Final Fantasies 2, 3, and 5 got skipped over. But retroactively looking back at everything, I don't even consider the American release numbers anymore. To me, when I say 6, I'm specifically talking about the original 6. And when I say Final Fantasy 4, I'm talking about the original Final Fantasy 4.
Perfect. I think honestly that's how they view them anyway now. Like
Yeah.
so yeah.
Pretty
It's
much.
it's accepted that way.
Yeah. Anybody else? I know we haven't heard from Kobo and Lynn in a while. Guys.
Do you have any, Lynn?
I guess I have some honorable mentions. If you're like me and your mind goes a million miles an hour, one game that I recommend would be No Man's Sky. That game, it just allows me. It's very relaxing for one, without putting me to sleep. Because if a game's too relaxing, sometimes I'm like, no.
What was the name of the game? You went a little low there. Sorry.
No, she said No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Got it.
Yeah, I
What do
actually,
I've been wanting to play that one.
it's really good. Well, I had pre-ordered it back. Oh my gosh, it was like 10 years ago, I think, when it came out, and
And the whole controversy behind it.
oh yeah,
It's
everyone
much
hyped it
better
up.
now though. It's much better now.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
What
that's
did you
the
play
thing
it
is
on
that
originally?
I played it on PS4 originally, and then got it on PS5, and then ultimately PC, because eventually they made it to where you can carry over. It's like crossplay.
I think they made a Switch 2 version, guys, and I hear it runs great.
What
I
was the
recommend it.
controversy?
Well, it was really hyped up. They made a lot of promises that they didn't deliver whenever the game released. And so a lot of people were pretty bummed out about it. Personally, I did pre-order it. And there was like a big thing about it where like I ended up like moving and then didn't have like my receipt, and like my ex ended up like returning it. So I didn't even get like the pre-order, but I did end up buying it. Um and I just love that Hello Games just really redeemed themselves, because eventually they made the game free, and then they just kept updating it and releasing update after update, and really made the game what it was meant to be, or beyond what it was meant to be when they initially released it. And now it's just massive. There's like so much other stuff they've added to it that I haven't gotten to experience.
Now
And
you
I
got to
actually,
pay for it.
well, I
Yeah.
think now it's back to paying for it. But I actually got affiliate on Twitch by playing that game because it was so
What?
popular. Yeah,
Oh
a lot of people
wow.
like to watch that game, and it's a lot of fun, and it allows me to zone out too, because I can just like, if my brain is going, I'll just zone out. But it also allows you to focus on objectives or play at your own pace.
Fellow streamers, looks like we gotta play No Man's Sky.
It's a great game to play like with other people as well too, especially nowadays.
That's what I
So
hear. Yeah.
it's
I want
really,
to I want to try that game. I just haven't had time to play lately, but no, that'd be cool to play with some of you guys,
really down.
whenever I do get it.
Is it cross-platform? Does anybody know?
Yes, cross-platform, cross-play, everything. It's great.
Yep.
If you like open world survival craft, you'll like it a lot. I also wanted to mention Spiritfarer. It's kind of like it's
Ooh,
Oh,
that is a good game.
Which one?
Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer.
Is that an indie game?
It
Yeah,
is.
Okay.
yes, it is.
Score one
Tears.
for indies.
Tears.
Love indie games.
Oh,
But yeah, it helped me through a really tough time in my life when I was really needing to learn how to let go. So if you lose somebody and you really just need something to relate to, if you're going through some grief, that is an excellent game. And it's cool because you get to like build on your boat if you've never heard of it. It's like
mhm.
you have like a little farm and you can have cows and all sorts of stuff on your boat, and it's a lot of fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful game.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend.
That is, yeah, dealing with death and letting go. It's a beautiful game. Like in story wise, and like aesthetically, it's I think it's underrated, honestly. Um, but like Stardew Valley,
Yeah, I hear a lot of people mention Stardew
I
Valley.
put a lot of Stardew Valley made me a cozy gamer. Like it, I was never into anything like that because of Stardew Valley. It's funny because it didn't click with me at first, but I was just like, what is this? You know what? Sorry, I take it back. Stardew Valley, I liked it, but I just like this isn't for me, I don't think. Then what is it? Rune Factory kind of held my hand cuz Stardew Valley does not hold your hand. Rune Factory held my hand and I was like, "Oh, this is how you play Stardew Valley." And so once I did that, I went back to Stardew Valley. I was like, I see now. And Stardew Valley, I've spent so many hours. Still, when I just want to chill, something relaxing, the music is the vibes. It's just immaculate. It's just so like soft and you know, and just relaxing. Honestly, Stardew Valley, Roof Factory as well. Then I started playing cozy games like Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is great. Just those little things. I think that they can be really. A lot of people started, especially after the pandemic. Animal Crossing, New Horizons.
Yeah.
All things like that. It's just yeah. It takes you, allows you to decompress and just like breathe and just turn your brain off, which I need to do all the time because I talk really fast and like my mind goes faster than my mouth. So shut up and play Stardew Valley.
I also wanted to mention any PlayStation
Uh,
exclusives. I love PlayStation exclusives. I love solo games, story games. But like the Horizon series, oh my god,
Mm.
game mind blowing. The storyline, it's so immersive. I love that game. And then of course The Last of Us. That game destroyed. Honestly, like
I don't
The
know.
Last of Us. Well, The Last of Us 2. That's why like I was surprised that it was so low on your list. That
I
game to
didn't.
me.
No. I like that game. I love that game, but I just didn't agree with the ending. That's all.
See, and that's okay. That's the thing about it though, because I know a lot of people were upset about the ending and how the whole storyline went, but like the reception of that game and like how it was so mixed and divided, it made me realize that you honestly kind of needed like a certain level of like emotional intelligence to understand the masterpiece of the storyline. Because yes, how like if I was like back in my
Did you just call me?
yes, I did.
Hector, you Philistine.
Back in my younger days when I was really angry and like vengeful, oh man, I would have hated the game. I would have hated the game. I would have hated the ending. But it was in a time of like growth for me, where I was wanting to be like a bigger, better person, and
Yeah.
so it just really like sat with me because of what I was going through at the time. And I was wailing at the end. I was wailing. I was so proud of her. Like, oh my gosh.
But the thing with that, right, is that I'm not a vengeful person,
So
and
why?
so
Hector?
it was sad. It was way too sad, and like I was just like,
Yeah.
and I was like, you have nothing. You have nothing. You gave up like this family because you were a vengeful person, and then you just decided to just and you
Okay.
You get to see
and
her growth. You get to see
what
her
growth?
what she learned. and what she learned. Well, I mean, I don't want
Okay,
to say
we're gonna have to
adult,
have a separate
but yeah,
podcast
what she
on The
ended up
Last of Us. So The Last of Us, the last season of The Last of Us is gonna be coming out like I think next year. We are doing a podcast on the games and like
I never watched the shows.
it's
but-
fine. We're gonna talk about the games because it's gonna be relevant at that time. So we will save this discussion for later. But the first one is one of my favorite games of. I think it's in my top 5. I put in there at least top 10 for sure.
Oh yeah,
Um,
first one.
And so like as far as like mental health, that story is incredible and I think beautiful. Um, especially the remake, the for PS1 remake. I have every iteration of it of The Last of Us. I have the PS3 version, I have the PS4 remaster version, and I have the PS1 remake or PS5 remake. Sorry, and yeah, I just like their relationship. I think is very beautiful. You know that the father figure, you know, for Ellie that Joel is, especially after losing my father, you know, was something that hit home for me, and even though, and it's so funny because the world is chaotic and scary and but there's still a sense of like this hope and this calmness and beauty in that game that's I think I haven't really seen anything can't quite match it the way that it balances tone back and forth, you know. So yeah, I would put Last of Us on there too.
So I have a couple games.
Let's hear them, brother.
So going with what Lynn was saying, like PlayStation 1 exclusives that are immersive, I got to go with the God of War series, the newer ones, obviously.
Oof.
But hear me out. It's because I guess for me, relating to the themes, especially in the first game, like Kratos having to let go of the past. You know, for me, I remember at the time I was going through something like that right before I started going to grad school. Because I was like, all right, we're gonna go to a new chapter in our lives. So now I gotta let go of stuff to kind of move on. So, but the part where he's getting his blades of chaos back, and that whole scene where he's talking about, or he imagines Athena, like, you know, you're always gonna be a monster. And he's like, I know, but I'm your monster no longer. Like that hit.
Nice.
So that whole journey, and then not so much the parent part. I'm not a parent, but the journey that Kratos goes through to kind of his own acceptance, forgiveness of himself. I felt like that's one of those mental health like games that help. I mean, but another note, more relaxing games. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back to what Aaron brought up. I'm a Power Wash Simulator 2 game player. That's what I play when I need to chill, turn off the brain, and get ready for bed. Or you know what I mean? Like you just got to do a task.
Speaking of bed, oh my gosh, it's almost 12 o'clock where I'm at.
Sorry.
Oh
I'll try
man,
to
if
speed
you, need
this
to,
up.
if you need to go, brother, we understand.
You know, I'm about to pass out too. I'm like, why am I so tired? Then I looked at the time when he was like, oh, by the way. Like, all right, then I'm gonna head out.
For
Thank you
sure.
so much for having me.
Of course.
And it was nice meeting all of you guys. And seriously,
Too
all of your
glitchy.
stories were fantastic. And yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next podcast whenever you guys do the next one.
Of course. Thank you, Glitchy. The good Glitchy,
Alright.
Glitchy Games. Appreciate
Good
it.
night, Glitchy.
Go
Alright,
get
nice
some
game.
I
other
know.
shut eye.
Dang! Where were you in elementary school? My gosh, those would have been heavy hitters. Wow, dude.
But she's gonna go
Ooh.
get a wink of sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Hey man, we love you, man.
I
We love you.
love that. No,
We love
dude,
you here at Nintendo Friends, honestly.
Oh,
But
dude.
like,
No, dude. I know you guys are doing it for the love of the game. This is great. All right, you guys have an awesome night.
ladies and
Morning.
gentlemen,
Bye.
Glitchy
There's
Games,
Glitchy.
everyone.
Mm.
Thank you, sir.
Later.
See you, pops.
Bye.
Good
Oh,
guy. Go ahead.
I was
keep-
gonna
keep-
recommend you. I think some of you guys, retro gamers would love this, but I tried a game called Easy Delivery Company.
I've never
It has
heard
that
of
plays. It's an indie game. It has that look of the PlayStation 1, And there's a little story, but honestly, you can just sit there and make deliveries the whole time, upgrade your car. It's such a good, and it has a little bit of a hint of Animal Crossing aesthetics with the characters. So y'all like that? I recommend that definitely as a anxiety reducer, I think.
Oh, it's
I
on
have it
Steam.
my
Nice.
Not like
wish list.
Paperboy.
I think it's on my wish list.
Not
already.
exactly. Okay, like it's kind of that kind of game, I guess.
It's on your
But
wish list, Lynn?
I think so, yeah.
I recommend it.
But
And
I
then
have
the
like
last
4
one
games.
is Dredge. And that's gonna
That's a
be
great
I've
Yeah,
heard good things.
Dredge is good.
I haven't finished it for that. We were talking about earlier how it's almost done. I'm near the end. And I'm like, I want to finish this. I just want to keep. I just want to keep going.
I haven't finished it either, but yeah.
But it's that one is probably one of my favorites to just unwind and just turn off the brain, just like focus on, you want to fish, you want to get your stuff to upgrade your ship to move on to the next part. It's just a really cool journey, I think, and it's so simple.
And it's spooky.
It has some of the spooky elements, but it's not like, I don't think it's jump scare, but there are moments where I don't pay attention and those things come up. I'm like, and then I do start screaming, but it's like happy screams.
Happy
need to
Those
scream.
yeah, like those Bob Ross screams, like, it's like happy accidents.
It's a great game for Steam Deck. Honestly, that's where I was playing.
Mm.
It's a
Perfect.
happy little
I need to
jump
put it on
scare.
my ROG, because I'm like, I forgot it's only on my PC, but I need to put it on my ROG. It's so good.
There's just something about being on handheld. It just
I
feels
think
perfect.
I can play it on my Switch too.
I think it is. Yeah, it is on Switch.
I'm gonna have to
And
look on the
I wanted
eShop.
to actually ask you guys your opinion on something. Maybe I mean, maybe this might be controversial, but
Uh-oh.
for a
Even more
little
reason to
bit,
ask it.
I was playing Helldivers 2, and that was helping me just like with my
Yes.
stress. And that's like a chaotic ass game.
Chaos, that's my forte.
I was gonna say you might like that.
Well, because like here's the thing. For me and my streamer friends, because when we stream together, when we play together, one of my friends, she likes to do a certain thing where I turn into a robot, and next thing you know, AZI'S now activating murder sequence. Input target usernames. And we go from there. And she'll just give me commands that are like, AZI'S, no, AZI'S, no.
I mean,
That's why I say I like Helldivers. It's a good game. It can be very chaotic. You just have to like know how to manage like your overall stress levels, because there's times where you're like, where the heck did you just come from?
because I found like there was times where I just would go solo. Like I'd go try to run a mission solo instead of joining or playing with anybody. And I was like, this is somehow strangely soothing. I don't know what it is. Just doing it at my pace. And I was like, but I'm also the guy that I watched all of Evangelion in one weekend.
Yeah.
And my friends that I told, I was like, oh yeah, I checked it out one weekend. They're like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. Like,
Dude, that was
fine.
me when I got my Switch too, and I played for 2 weeks straight. Like didn't shower, like no, I'm just kidding. But I was just like I was literally glued to my Switch like the first 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, yeah, we gotta, fix that.
You got that video gamer smell.
Yeah.
You got some stank going on.
Abel was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, so I was good though.
Brought back to life.
My smell killed me. Then the stench, like it was like a smelling salt, and like brought me back to life again.
Such a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's such a vicious cycle indeed.
But the dredge, sorry, really quick, dredge is the one with the boat, right?
yep.
Okay, it's on sale right now for $10.
It's
Digital
yeah,
Deluxe
it's
edition.
it's a cheap little game, but dude, it's so good. I
Looks
recall
good.
enjoying the ambiance of the ocean and all the like seagulls and stuff too. So,
Interesting. I will add it to my wish list.
but yeah,
My wishy list.
I think those are the games I recommend. Like I said, it's
Nice.
for sure easy. Delivery Company was one that I didn't expect that was going to be on that. Like when I started playing it, I finished it. Apparently, there's another ending, but I won't get into that. The whole thing is just when you're delivering, though. And I love the old PlayStation 1 aesthetic that it has. It's just something about it. It just nostalgia, but it feels great to just be back in those graphics.
I love
Yeah.
games that like are
The 8-bit.
modern. They look like old school, but they're like modern. I love that style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend it. And I said, like, it's not even complicated. You just go get deliveries. You go from one town, go to another one. Sometimes you got to get an upgrade to make that trek. You got to get gas,
It
whatever it is.
does.
But
It does look like a PS1 game, but it looks so charming. Like
it is that, that's exactly what it is.
it looks like nostalgic. Like
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, even if you watch the trailer for it,
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I think if you listen to the music, because there's a guy that it's like what's his face? Oh my gosh, the one that plays guitar on
Oh, KK
Animal Crossing.
Slider.
Yeah, like there's a character that's kind of like that, like inspired by that, I think, and you can actually hear him playing music. It sounds a lot like it. So I
Yeah.
mean,
One
it's a good
yeah.
game.
Yeah, it looks incredible. I added it to my wish list. One last game that I'm gonna, end with here. Y'all can keep adding, but the last one that I will say, two of them actually, are basically my favorite Switch games. Basically, one is Super Mario Odyssey, and the other one is Breath of the Wild. You can add Tears of the Kingdom to that list, but Breath of the Wild is just those are two of the best Switch games in my opinion. And they're both different, obviously, but they fit like the vibe that you like. They're different moods. So like, one's a little bit more turn your brain off and platform and like jump and collect and things like that. Other one is like you gotta be a little bit more aware, but you can still turn your brain off. It's still cozy. It's still like Breath of the Wild is like that environment. Like yeah, it can get hectic, but like you go through this world, you're walking everywhere, and you go through Hyrule, and it's like the ambiance and like the music. It's like calming, and then you basically can control how chaotic that gets. Like if you want to go and kill some goblins or whatever, you can do that. Or if you want to go kill a boss or a Lionel or something, like But other than that, you can just talk to people, do some side quests, go to Kakariko Village, go to Hateno Village, and just chill. Like I built my house and I just put a bunch of all the stones and all like the Hylian shields and the swords and that I would find. I would just put it in my house and like that was cool. So, but yeah, Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey, just being basically Super Mario 64 but on a grander scale and more modern. That's my favorite Mario game is Super Mario Odyssey, and I can't get enough of those games. I come back to them all the time,
They're good
yearly.
games.
Yeah.
I I would say that games that have varying difficulty levels, sometimes I'll ask myself, like, do I want to relax or do I really want to challenge myself? Like when it comes to Halo, it's like, do I really want to challenge myself? Hey, I'll play on Legendary. Or do I just want to like sit back and have a really relaxed time? I'll put it on easy mode. And when I used to play games like StarCraft, which is a real-time strategy game, it's like, do I really want to challenge myself and play some of the harder missions, or do I just want to put on like an easy map and just mine minerals, make units, send them out, go kill, and just sit back and enjoy it?
Mm-hmm. Master mode for Zelda has that,
Hmm.
So I get that. Yeah. All right.
Well,
Any other recommendations?
I think we're good for right now. I think we're good tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna share my Discord with you guys in case anybody wants a game or just chill.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool with everybody.
Oh yeah.
I
And you're
put it on
welcome in
the
my
chat.
server.
Oh,
Nice.
appreciate it. I put my my thing on the chat.
Oh,
so if
thanks,
you guys want
Kobo.
to see
Now I
that.
have it.
Ha! You're never on Discord.
I actually am on Discord all the time. You just never tell me.
Whatever, man. You don't talk to me. You have me blocked.
Okay. No, but
He's always
guys,
invisible, but then you can see that his status is like, oh, he's playing this.
actually, you would never see my status because I'm always on Switch.
Nah,
I don't
that's
have
what I'm
it
saying.
connected. It's like Hector's playing Switch too. No, but yeah. But thank you guys for.
Well, quick question. Quick question
yeah, go
before
ahead.
we end. Summer's coming up. Any summer games you guys plan on playing or like looking forward to?
Ooh,
I haven't done my homework just yet. I'm gonna have to look into it and answer that later.
summer.
Yeah, same. I'm not even
I
sure yet.
do want to dip my feet into Pragmata.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah, that
love
one.
I played the demo for that on Switch 2. It's incredible. I need this game, but I need it physically. And every GameStop I go to, it's sold out. So I'm just gonna wait until I get it physically. Also, Indiana and the Great Circle for Switch 2 looks amazing. So I do plan on picking that up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking
I
about
mean-
Pragmata.
I
Pragmata's
mean-
probably the one that I'm aiming for too.
Well, because like I don't have a Switch 2, not yet. And all I have is a PC. And if I want
it
to
on
stream
PC.
well, because like here's the thing. I am working with a very limited graphics card. So if I'm trying to stream and operate my VTuber at the same time, it takes up a lot of my CPU memory and everything. So that's why if I get a Switch 2, which I honestly thought about upgrading to regardless anyway, because I want to play Pokopia, it knocks out two birds with one stone because then I can get Pragmata on my Switch, use my I forget what this thing is called.
So you can basically run the game off the Switch. That way, it does the PC doesn't have to run the game and stream and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah.
What's your
I got
graphics
what
card,
you-
if you don't mind me asking?
MSI. It's a 2080,
Oh, okay.
if I'm correct.
Mm.
I gotta take it back apart
And
Yeah,
build
'cause I
it up
think-
again.
and build
that-
it up again. I am due for an upgrade soon anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
Does anybody have any other comments, questions before we get to the fun fact of the show?
The what?
Oh, we have fun facts now, buddy. Been gone for a while. So, hold on. Anybody? Any other comments, questions, concerns, outbursts? Okay. So, the way that we end the show now is that we have a fun fact from Professor Aaron, the Pokemon professor. Professor Aaron, what is today's fun fact?
Well, today I was doing a little bit of research. I figured since we talked about Star Fox a good chunk at the beginning, this is somewhat Star Fox related. On the N64 in Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, there is an R-Wing programmed into into that game that can be reprogrammed into the game using like a device like a Game Shark. The developers used it to kind of help one of the bosses get created, which is Volvagia, the fire dragon. The way its head flies around, they use the R-Wing's flight to figure out how its body would move and essentially gave that creature its movement.
I just saw a
Wow.
video on that too. I thought that was kind of cool. They
Mhm.
used
I
it
didn't know
for.
that.
They had the same intro when they come out, and I heard
Just-
that they used several little R wings for the different segments of its body. I thought that was pretty neat.
Mhm.
That is cool. That is a fun fact.
Nice.
But I appreciate everybody's, input, everybody's stories, and vulnerability today. This is a great show. This is awesome. Every time I have you guys on here, I'm just grinning ear to ear. And I love what you guys have brought to Nintendo Friends. And what I'll end with this. What I was talking to Glitchy on the phone yesterday, and I was just telling him about what we were doing, what we were gonna do today. And it started off with me and Abel, and of course we wanted to talk about Nintendo and things like that. But I had always envisioned Nintendo Friends when we came up with Nintendo Friends. I wanted it to be a discussion where we could be free, where where people would feel included. But I wanted it to be a discussion, and you guys have brought that to this channel. You know, you guys have, especially the last couple of weeks, we've had more people on than we ever had, and now we are Nintendo friends. It's not me and Abel. We are Nintendo friends. You guys are Nintendo friends. You listening at home and watching this at home, wherever you're at, on the toilet probably, we're Nintendo friends. And so I want to thank you guys. You guys are included. I want everybody to be included. I don't want anybody to be excluded from this discussion. And so you guys each bring something completely different, a fresh perspective that I do not have, that Abel does not have. And so I definitely appreciate you guys being on. Anytime you guys are on, you guys are welcome anytime. Honestly, I will continue to send out the prompts. If you guys want to be a part of it, great. If not, no worries. But you guys are always welcome, and you can always hit us up. So I thank you so much. And if you guys are listening, you guys are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate us 5 stars. If you didn't like the show, don't rate us at all. Remember, you can get merch. We have this is sponsored by Dubby. Dubby is a powder-based energy company that you can get just charged up. You can also get 10% off when you use our code NIN10. That's NIN, the number 10, to get 10% off of all your Dubby products. We've got merch. We've got music. We've got it all. That Pacopia shirt, guys, that Pacopia shirt goes hard. Go get it. We got a new iPhone case, and it's awesome. We got awesome merch, you guys. But thank you guys for joining us. Thank you Professor Aaron. Thank you to Glitchy. Thank you to Phil, Flying Hawaiian. Thank you to Kaiju Kobo, golly. Thank you to Azzy, thank you Lynn, and we will be back with Abel, would you join us next time as well, hopefully. But we enjoyed this time with you guys, we enjoyed the show, and until the next one, we will see you. Everybody say bye.
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 Bye, Buggy, hope you find your dad.
Bye.